I've always been a writer. I've always listened to music, but it wasn't until I was in, I believe, the eighth grade, I had to write a poem. Um, and in the poem, I quoted some lyrics. And this was like for an end of term examination. So we went home that December, and in January we came back, and my teacher asked me to recite the poem in front of the class. So I was all nervous and jittery and all of that. But I did it, and surprisingly, the class was receptive of it. And in the ninth grade, two of my close friends, they were rapping. And I was, like I said, always a fan of music. So they convinced me to join up with them. So that's how I began rapping. In high school, I picked up a nickname, Bandin. Um, One of my close friends just felt the need to give me a nickname, and that one stuck. So as I began rapping, they called me Bandin, and then when I moved away to the States, they would call me Young Bandin. But as I grew up, like I kind of got, like, you know, the name was sticking too much. So I just dropped the Bandin and I kept the beat. And my last name is Major, which means greater. And it's kind of like a play on words, B major, so it's almost to say like be greater. It inspires me, and in that, you speak in these things, so it's a constant reminder. I always write from a realistic point of view. I've never been, somebody who would see things in, like, say, the color of the sky. I've always been a person who wrote from life experience. So if I was going through something, or somebody shared something with me that they was going through, and it touched me in a way that I felt the need to write, um, that's usually how it starts. And also, listening to music and instruments, they kind of put a visual in your mind. And depending on the track, sometimes the track can make you feel, happy. It can bring you into where you feel a little bit, the need to share a testimony. So a lot of influences inspire my writing. I would say my favorite artist to listen to, who I feel like I wanna, get to where he's at as far as inspiring others, is Andy Mineo. I just like his creative style because he mixes the influence of hip hop with R&B, soul, and at the same time he's still creative with it. And as far as locally, I listen to Kyle King, The Element, Ezra, Imperial Blaze, Rissa. I guess good music is good music, so if you're good with the stuff, I'll listen. I've always been an outcast, so when I write from that viewpoint. I won't say I write for believers so much. I wrote every song that I write, I basically write it for non-believers. People who are out there feeling like, there's nothing out there for them. For everybody who's an outcast or somebody who needs some kind of encouragement. My focus mainly, because I know that background and I know what it feels like to, be an underdog. And so I write from that standpoint. When I got saved, this was back in 2010, and I was rapping, church had me feeling as though, I should drop what I'm doing as far as rapping, because I didn't feel it would be accepted. And I ended up going to a youth convention, and I was just in the congregation, in worship, and the minister who had the stage that night, who mounted the altar, he ended up coming down, and I was like in worship, like totally oblivious to what was going on around me. And he came down and he stopped to me and he looked at me. This is somebody who I don't know. I don't know if he knew me prior, but he was like, "You do music, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Do not let anybody discourage you from doing what you're doing. There's something on the inside of you that God is going to use to bring a lot of people into the fold." And that was confirmation for me, because like I was saying, I fought with the idea of continuing to rap, and I didn't know if I wanted to pursue it because I didn't know if it would be accepted. And when he gave that word to me, it brought me into a level of comfort where I was like, God gave me this gift. And if I don't use it, He's going to take it away from me. And it's also a gift that gives me great joy. So when I embraced that and continued to rap, I saw how much the gift really, you know, influenced people and impacted people. And so it was a great moment of affirmation from God through His minister to let me know that whatever He placed on the inside of you is for a purpose, and if you can channel it and use it in a way that glorifies Him, He's gonna be proud of it, and you're gonna make a lot of other people come into the flock just by being obedient. Stay true to you, and if you have a certain style that people may not get right now, master it. You're gonna create your own lane. You're gonna create an avenue for yourself to be expressive. And one thing I learned about music, it's so therapeutic that somebody else might not get it, but it's you. It's for you to vent. It's for you to release. And at the same time, there's always gonna be somebody out there who takes from what you're doing and is inspired by it.